We went almost 8,900 miles in 7 days. They discontinued the original format, but knowing Brock and Hal Needham and some of his cronies, who I think Brock's wife, Lady Pamela, called them slightly aging teenagers. You remember Smokey and the Bandit and the Cannonball Run, they made movies of this, and the police around the country were kind of made buffoons of, and they didn't like that too much. He decided to reinvent this as almost like mini cannonballs. And he and Lady Pamela got in a Dodge van called Moon Trash. They circumnavigated the U.S. Hence was born the One Lap of America, because we went almost 8,900 miles in 7 days, which is interesting. Chrysler Corporation was bringing out the new concept, the minivan, the Dodge Caravan. Prior to that, Brock, who was a noted writer for Car and Driver, and all you car guys remember his columns in Car and Driver, he had an offshoot of that for just the in-car guys, supposedly, that was called the Cannonball Express. Well, I subscribed to the Cannonball Express from the outset, and it was really interesting because he knew a lot of tidbits that you didn't find in the normal magazines, Road and Track and Car and Driver. This concept was announced in the Cannonball Express, and anybody that had an interest in this was supposed to contact Brock. So I was one of those, and I contacted Brock, and the clandestine part of the original Cannonballs and subsequent intelligent Cannonballs was lost on us crazy car guys who just wanted a piece of the action. And we didn't realize that this was probably going to be real public. USA Today, front page spread for all the police to look at and just set the traps as best as they could. So a lot of us received some fast driving awards, shall we say. The big day came, and I decided that the best way to run this would be in a Porsche, which is a great high-speed vehicle. And they had the 944, and so I got a color that was, I'll call it mud tan, nondescript, not arrest me red or anything like that, or speed yellow. This was just a nondescript color. A buddy of mine from Jasper, Indiana, Jack Dipple, and I purchased this car, and I drove it up to New York, and we had it at the Red Ball Garage. The race was to start at the Lock, Stock, and Barrel restaurant in Darien, Connecticut. Just the camaraderie. When people say, well, why did you do this? It seems kind of silly to drive around the country. It was just so we could be with a bunch of other car guys having fun. And we had such notables as Parnelli Jones, Walker Evans, Gene Lindemood. They drove in a Dodge van with a serious engine in it. I'm not exactly sure what they had, but it was a serious engine. It was disguised as a Stroh's delivery van. Renee Dreyfuss flagged the event as we were let go minutes apart. And Renee was a Formula One champ back in the 30s, I believe. Diana Ross was there. To top it all off, they had ladies jello wrestling before we left. Don't ask. But the real announcement that we were leaving, and when we were leaving, was they had two huge spotlights like they used in World War II to shoot airplanes down with. The instructions were simple. Go to Boston and turn left. Go to Seattle, turn left. Go to San Diego, turn left. Go to Miami, turn left. Go to Lock, Stock, and Barrel. That was it. Upon further investigation, we found some other instructions that were a little more specific, but not a lot more, because it was just kind of a free-for-all, shall we say. Brock kept saying, remember, guys, this is not a race. This is not a race. I don't know who he was trying to convince. Maybe himself. I'm not sure. But his motto was run silent, run deep. And when you have spotlights and all the fanfare, it was a little hard to run silent, run deep. To make things worse, we were given these stickers like the race cars have. And we thought, hey, this is cool. We're going to be like real racers. So we slap all these Cannonball stickers all over our cars. Just arrest me, please, arrest me. There were more cops looking for us in Ohio than I could even count. And here we were with all this advertisement of what we were doing. This is honest truth. They had a spotter in a filling station. We stopped for gas in Ohio. Three of us we were running. It was a Corvette and a BMW and our Porsche. And as we left the gas station and we were getting up to speed, here comes Smokey, full-grown state bear, pulled all three of us over, and we were only going, I don't know, 80, 85. We weren't going that fast. So he gave us tickets, of course, and let us go. And we got our picture with him, and he was smiling. He knew that he was just doing what he was told to do. But the fact that they had these spotters on overpasses and at rest stops and at filling stations was indicative of the intensity of their enforcement. But we did one thing that was intelligent. We took our advertisement off of our cars. Now, the fact that we had out-of-state plates and CB antennas everywhere, it was still pretty easy to spot us. And by then they had descriptions of the cars. Fortunately, we had CB radios, and a lot of us had two CBs, one to listen to the truckers channel and one to just talk amongst ourselves. So we were able to avoid some of the citations we might have received. And the truckers were all pretty up with what we were doing and helping us out as best they could. The great state of Montana, we were going at probably a buck 10, something in that range. And we came on this pickup truck, this deputy or whatever he was going 55. So we all dutifully went 55 for a few miles. Well, finally, the point man eased on up past this deputy, and you can see this picture. He was really not concerned with us, and we moved on. Now, somebody in the Washington State Police really had it in for us, because in one section on I-5, we counted approximately 45 troopers in a 100-mile stretch. And what really got our attention was the traffic was all going 60, 65. We figured, no, surely they'll spot us 5 miles an hour. No. 56, you got a citation. We didn't get a citation, but several guys we ran with did, for going 57, 58, right in there. And it was pretty brutal. So we cleared there, and we were okay in Oregon. We got down to California. Well, the chips were out in force, shall we say, and they had many different techniques for nailing people where radar detectors were of no use. They have a lot of access roads, a lot of side roads that parallel I-5, and they would either have a civilian car up on the overpass announcing our presence, and they would pace us on the access roads, and then they'd pull us over. They had airplanes. They had helicopters. They had rolling roadblocks. They would go 55 and for miles. And of course, we were all just like frustrated and, but what were you going to do? Because they were serious. Well, we found out later that what really precipitated this onslaught of police was one of the competitors in a 930 Porsche. He was going insanely fast. We kept it under 130 mostly. He was going faster than that, and I don't know what they had, a helicopter or an airplane, something that wasn't as fast as he was going. They had to enlist another aerial surveillance entity to catch him, and they were really mad. So when the rest of us came through, we were just really at risk. So anyway, we get to the Portofino Inn, the halfway point, and that was just our huge party. We had a great, Mary Davis, who ran the Portofino, she's a friend of Brock's, and she's a car chick, and she really showed us a great time. When we left the Portofino, we went I-10, we went east on 10, and a few of us that had been running in a pack decided we were really going to book it across Southern California, and we did. I'm not sure when they expected us in Texas, but we got there way before they expected us. We hit El Paso several hours before they anticipated our arrival. And we heard via the CBs that they had a roadblock set up for our competitors, and they caught a lot of them right around El Paso. But we were long gone. I think the top speed on that thing was right under $140. I just kept it to the floor the whole way across. And I mean, we did see Border Patrol, and the Border Patrol had a roadblock, and when we came with the 944, they didn't figure there's any way we could hide anybody in the back, so they pretty much let us go without any hassle. We went a collective 600 and approximately 50,000 miles as a group in this event. We had 2 fatalities, a turkey in Texas and an armadillo in Texas. Well, the armadillo tore up the front end of the Porsche because he was going crazy fast all this time. And when he got to Mississippi, the Mississippi police impounded his car. They finally put an end to this madman. But when we got up to Jacksonville, we had a great time at Brumos Porsche. We were very indebted to them. And then we went on up to Darien, and it was the finish. The guys that won the event, it was based on Brock's pre-run mileage somehow, and they're the ones that hit the turkey in Texas. But the good news is we did a lot of rapid motoring. We caused no accidents. We precipitated no civilian problems with our activities, and I want to give hats off and kudos to the drivers, because everybody, save a couple guys, was trying to be within the spirit of the rules, which was have fun, run silent, run deep, and just enjoy yourselves. And we did. We had a blast.